Our Region's Business is sponsored by PNC for the achiever in you. Our Region's Business. Innovation, transformation, momentum, improving our communities and driving technologies that will shape our region for generations. The collaboration that brings vitality, prosperity, and life to living. Stay with us for the coming half hour as we examine in depth our region's business. Now, here's your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, reinventing the way we get around town, and tips you'll want to know for wasting less and earning more. But first, over the past 4 years, 30 civic leadership delegations from across the country and more than 50 from around the world have made benchmarking trips to our region. One question they pretty much all have in common: how did we engineer an economic comeback from the deep recession of the 1980s? Well, the answer: we did a better job of unlocking innovation in our universities and turning it into commercial products and new businesses. Today, the universities are stepping up the effort even more. The University of Pittsburgh has launched the Pitt Innovation Institute. Dr. Mark Melandro is Associate Vice Chancellor for Technology Management and Commercialization at Pitt. And Michael Lang is founder and CEO of NanoVision, a recent spin-off from the university. Welcome. Good to see both of you.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yeah, it is one of the great sort of the pillars of Pittsburgh's comeback was really the role that Pitt and your neighbor Carnegie Mellon have really played in unlocking innovation and turning it into companies. How many businesses have spun out of Pitt?
Well, since we've kept count, about 100 so far.
About 100?
That were coming out of University of Pittsburgh Technology. We do about 5 to 10 every year. And actually, what's unique about this region is that we do a lot of, several of them in collaboration with Carnegie Mellon. So I think the working relationship we have on especially the commercialization, startup company formation is really great and something unique to Pittsburgh.
Which is really great. It's one of the great regional assets, the kind of collaboration that we have going on. Tell me a little about NanoVision. What is it you guys do, and how did it arise at Pitt?
Well, NanoVision Diagnostics is a newly formed cancer diagnostics company. I've had the opportunity to work with Mark and others at the university for the past several years as an executive in residence to do just what Mark was describing: evaluate the different technologies, identify those that are commercially relevant, and then spin them out as new companies. So this is the one that I've chosen to spin out. We have a novel technology that can detect cancer earlier and more accurately than conventional methodologies. And so we're in clinical trials now and hoping to commercialize it in the near future.
Wow, that's really exciting. And I guess this is part of the secret sauce in all of this, finding experienced business executives, because I imagine a lot of your researchers really don't have a lot of the innate knowledge or even interest in trying to bring these technologies out.
Absolutely. It was one of the things that we found that is probably more useful than anything else at getting people thinking about how they're going to translate their research efforts, is to get people here who've done it before, who've made businesses, who've made products before, get them working with the faculty members. They'll tell you all they need to know about the science, but getting the business expertise and then getting them a little bit of funding that can take it from research stage to next to product stage and ready to get out the door. Very important to us.
That's interesting. An executive in residence, how do you get that kind of gig?
Well, I'm an industry veteran. I've spent my career in the medical device industry early on in the larger companies. I worked for Bard and J&J, developing, commercializing novel products in those companies. And then later in my career, working in small companies. I've started companies before, so I've had this kind of background, this entrepreneurial background in an industry-specific domain expertise. And it was those things that that Mark wanted to acquire, and so this has been a good match.
Really cool. Together. So then you identify the promising technology and then sort of go out with it, essentially.
That's exactly right. Yeah. There's a plethora of new technologies in the university. Many are very interesting technologies, but not necessarily commercially, not necessarily the basis of a startup company. Find those that are, and then nurture them along. Work with the researchers, make sure they're aimed at commercially relevant endpoints, and do anything you can to build a business case to the point where the business case is fully built and it's ready to attract investment capital.
Really cool. And Pitt's been doing this, Mark, with greater and greater success, or especially over the last 15 years or so. But now you're trying to take it to another level. You sort of reorganize the effort within the university?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what we realized is there was pieces and pockets of innovation, of entrepreneurship, of commercialization throughout the university. But in any large organization, trying to connect those, get them to communicate well, has always been a challenge. And so the provost and we came up with the idea of, could we take this over all the schools, over all the institutes, and could we make something that's available and accessible all across campus? And so we've set up what we're calling the University of Pittsburgh Innovation Institute. It's the Office of Technology Management, or the Technology Commercialization Office, a startup office, and the Office of Enterprise Development, as well as a really unique resource, which is the Institute for Entrepreneurial Excellence that was formerly in the business school. We maintain close ties to the business school, but putting these all together under the provost, so entrepreneurship belongs to all of the new colleges on campus. Entrepreneurship belongs to not just students and faculty and staff, but everyone who wants it, including the regional community. And really trying to build those bridges and connect not only inside out, but also outside in. How can we partner more effectively with regional businesses? How can we help them with education and programming and consulting, things that the Institute for Entrepreneurial Excellence already does?
Really exciting. Somebody who's been on the outside, inside, and now out again. Do you think this kind of approach has a lot of promise when you look at it as an industry guy?
Oh, absolutely. This is, I think, a very appropriate way to nurture these things along and get them over the transom such that they are commercially viable. I don't think this or many of these other technologies would have been spun out as easily and as readily without somebody on the inside nurturing them along and getting them ready for commercialization. I think this is a wonderful model, and I was enamored with it when Mark and I discussed it some years back, and I think it's worked very well.
Wow, well, really exciting. Great to see it happening at Pitt, right here in our region. Mark Melandro from Pitt, and Mike Lang now with NanoVision. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah. Next up, reinventing the way we get around town. Stay with us.